I renovated this dusty old shop into my dream home studio. Now there have been a lot of ups and downs, and twists and turns. Right now it's very late because I need to get this done by tomorrow. I honestly don't know if I'm gonna make it. A lot of victories as well and all the rest, but I've gotta say that it was all completely worth it. Because I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to take you on the journey of how we renovated this space and give you the tour. So let's get into it then. Hey, what's happening? My name is Ryan, and if you're new with us, welcome. I truly appreciate you being here. Before we kick things off, there are two things. Number one, this video is kind of a two-parter. The first video was a video that I published earlier this week on my journey as a filmmaker and why I gave up my dream studio back in my hometown. If you haven't seen that video yet, I definitely recommend going and watching that first so you can kind of see how we got here and all the different roadblocks and twists and turns and victories and all the things that brought us to this point right now to have a better perspective on why we're here. And the second thing that I wanted to mention is that this is actually phase one of this entire renovation project. If you've been following the channel for some time or you follow my community posts, you've probably seen that my family moved about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and in that time we've made 2 trips back to our old place and back here. We were very tired after that, but then we immediately jumped into this renovation project. Okay, so the shop is a complete mess. We have all of our stuff here that was in storage, when we're at the other house, and it's all kind of just laying around now. And also the electricity doesn't work. I was in here one day and I turned on the electricity and all of a sudden just gone. So now I have to figure out how to work on that, as well as get all this other stuff out of here, cleaned up in here, and make it look like a studio. I have a deadline on this and I don't have a lot of time, so I'm gonna just go for it. I had some deadlines coming up, so we only had 1 week to finish this whole thing, which, coming off a big move like we just did, is completely insane. I'm not gonna lie. But like I always say, stay the course and just keep going. Okay, so all of this stuff in the background might get moved around just a little bit, but so far I'm really happy with it. But right now it's very late because I need to get this done by tomorrow. I honestly don't know if I'm gonna make it. Yeah, I think it's time to, get a move on. The wall took me a little bit longer than I thought it was gonna take. Anyway, just keep pushing through, don't give up. But of course, we just kept pushing through and we actually made it by the skin of our teeth to get this studio renovation done and get it filmed so that you could see it for the first time. So without further ado, let's get into the tour. Welcome to the shop. So like I said before, this is an old shop that was built, I think, in the 1960s. So it very much still is a shop. This is a dual purpose space where I still do some of my woodworking, but also I am in here filming videos for YouTube or product videos for clients or things like that. And I also edit here. So this is that space. It still is in rough shape. We did a lot in just 1 week. Like I said earlier in the video, this is phase one. This is what we have so far, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys. So let's start the tour. Starting over here with my desk setup. For my setup here, I have the MacBook M1. This was the 2021, I think. This powers this monitor here. This is an LG. I can't remember what model number is. I'll put that here in a graphic. I also use the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 as a audio interface that goes from my computer to my speakers. Now my speakers are these little PreSonus speakers. I don't remember the name of them, but again, I'll put a little graphic here so you can see what those are. These are tiny, and I used to have the Atom Audio, the 8-inch, much bigger, much louder, much beefier, and I love those. However, everything's still in boxes and I'm still trying to figure out where everything is. So I pulled out these bad boys because I saw them and they actually sound really good for the size that they are. Honestly, if you're looking for something that's super small, super inexpensive, and that sounds great, these would be the speakers. So I'll leave links for everything down below. I also use this table as well as some of the other spaces in the studio for filming. Actually, let me set up a camera and sit down for a minute so that you can see what it looks like. We'll just set up this camera in the scene. Maybe we could just leave the camera on the gimbal so that we can get back to the tour. Okay, so this is what it's gonna look like for most of my videos. I even dimmed the lights a bit so that way you can kind of get more of the feel that I'm going for when I'm doing these talking head segments. I might raise the camera a little bit or adjust the brightness of my lights, adjust the background a little bit, but for the most part, I think this is where it's gonna stay. For this talking head, I'm using the Amaran 200D on my right side here, and then for my audio, I'm using the Sennheiser MKE 600 right above me here. I'm just going through the top handle of my Sony FX3 to record the audio, which makes it easier in post for me. I don't have to sync up audio and video, it just all comes together. However, I'm not actually using this mic right now. I'm actually using this lapel mic here. This is the DJI wireless mic, and this is connected to my Sony a7 IV that's shooting the behind the scenes back there. And that too is connected from the transmitter into the a7 IV. And again, I don't have to sync anything in post, it just works well that way. This is the mic I've been using this entire time for this studio tour. But if you are interested in hearing what the Sennheiser sounds like, here is what that sounds like. I actually like it better. The audio from it is super clean, and I use it for professional work as well. But let's talk about my desk and chair setup, which, believe it or not, is super important to me. And if you're anything like me and you find yourself at an editing bay or just at your desk for the majority of the work week, then you're gonna love this too. So over the many years that I've been renovating studios and occupying studio space, I've never really had a reason to change up my desk setup. I've always had the same things or the same variation of things throughout the last 6 or 7 years or so. But after sitting on them for many hours throughout the day, I was starting to have some back problems and even some issues with my legs, believe it or not. Apparently this is a really common thing, so I thought it was about time to upgrade my whole setup. This is the E7 Plus sit-stand desk with a solid wood textured top in black walnut, made by FlexiSpot. It has up to 4 programmable height adjustment presets and even a USB connection, which I use a lot for charging things like batteries or even my keyboard. It's just really nice and super handy to have nearby. But as much as I love this desk, believe it or not, I actually love my chair a whole lot more. Because if you're anything like me and you're sitting for hours on end editing videos or scripting or doing pre-production on a video project or a YouTube video, then you know what it's like to be sitting here and realize, wow, I've been sitting here for a while. This is the C7 Ergonomic desk chair made by FlexiSpot. Not only does it have adjustable lumbar support, saving your back, but also armrests that can be adjusted for any situation. They can go up, down, side to side, and even front and back. You can also adjust the seat depth, tilt, and of course, the height. But what's really great about this chair is that it reclines, which is amazing. It has a breathable mesh back, and you even have the option for a foam seat or mesh seat. I actually chose the mesh option for my chair, and I'm honestly glad that I did. The best part about this chair is that everything is adjustable, making it the perfect chair for just about anyone. If you are a video editor or a content creator, you probably are very familiar with the countless hours you spend at your desk to get the job done. This chair has truthfully been amazing for me, and I just want that for you too. So I partnered with FlexiSpot to get you a special discount. Use my code Fox and Crown to get $30 off of your purchase. And FlexiSpot is usually doing some kind of really cool sale, so I highly recommend checking it out if you're in the market for a new chair. And I just want to give a special thank you to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video. All right, back to the tour. Let's switch back to the wireless mic. Lighting most of the room really is this light here, made by June. It's the Mullis G200. This thing is super bright. It's just lighting up this entire room, and it has the June's lantern softbox on it. I did a video on this. It's a bicolor light, and it has tons of cool features and super small too, which is what I love about it. It doesn't even need to be on this C-stand. I have a whole video about it, and I'll link that as well. Over here is just random stuff, my backpack, haze machine, speaker, not important though. This is just an extra space for me to, build camera rigs and things like that. Sound panels all throughout. I made these for my last studio. This is just a random shelf full of some of my gear and books, like some muslin and negative fill, things like that, my slate. And if you're wondering, the wall is tricorn black, and we decided to go with that because I really like that contrast of the wood, the natural wood, and with the furniture with this black. I just like that a lot. This is just some table with some books, some batteries, extra batteries, and then of course my shelf of all of my vintage cameras, including this one. I don't think I've talked about it much on the channel. This is the first camera I ever owned. It was given to me by a cousin of mine who became my mentor. He was a professional wedding photographer, brought me under his wing, taught me everything he knew. But anyway, this is the history of this camera, and that's why it's up there. This is the June M20C. Again, did a video on it. And then just some artwork on the shelves and on the wall here, which makes it really nice. This is I love you in French. That's a thing between my wife and I. It's a piece of her there. A white card. I use this a lot when I'm doing lighting breakdowns, when I have to move around really quickly. I just shine a small light on this and it just reflects right back on me. And that acts as my key light most of the time, especially when I'm filming shorts. It's super quick and I can just move it around. This is the, I call this the lounge area because it kind of looks a little bit loungy. My wife comes in here a lot and likes to hang out right here on this couch, but also I'm gonna be using this as a podcast space. Those of you that may know or may not know, I have a podcast. It only has a few episodes on it. I'd planned on doing a lot more, but then we decided to do this move and change up things in our life. And so I put that on a hold, but I do want to bring it back. And I think this would be the perfect spot for it. I really like this couch, actually. This couch, my wife and I bought about 11 years ago. And it's actually not a couch, it's a dining room bench. We bought it because it was the only thing we could afford at the time, but I really do think it fills out the space. It does sit a little bit deep, so if I wanted to sit down here, it does feel a little bit like I would be a little bit shorter than the people sitting in one of these chairs. Anyway, that's the space here. We also have the Aperture 120D, super old light, but I still love it, on a C-stand with the Light Dome Mini softbox with the grid. And then this is the brand new Molus X60. And I love this little light. It is battery powered, but you could also plug it in. I'm gonna do a whole video on it, but this light is amazing. And there are plenty of reviews on YouTube about this light. So definitely check those out if you'd like to learn more. I just have it on a Bowens mount adapter and a little reflector coming out this way to light this space up a little bit. So right over here, this is the Amaran 60X, another bicolor light. I love this light because it's so small. So that's that. Back here is just a corner of gear. These are all my lights, modifiers, and all the doodads and things that are in my Pelican cases over here. Okay, so beyond that, I do have my tools here to build sets or to build shelves or things that I need here in the studio. That's what that's all about. The wall on wheels though, that is what this is over here. On the other side of this wall is all of our storage, my family's storage, and I'm gonna be setting up a shop kind of room back there as well. But yeah, this is the wall on wheels. The reason why I made this is so that I could move it around and create different sets within this studio space. We'll probably deck this out with some artwork. The color on the wall is Mohican Sage, is that what it is? Yeah, Mohican Sage, and that's pretty much it. To cover all that, I just have these curtains. I am gonna build curtain rods for these to make it look a little bit nicer and put a couple more so it just looks more like curtains. I think that's everything, right? That's gotta be, okay. I have renovated plenty of studio spaces by now, I think 5 in total. And I always watch videos like this one to get inspired for those renovation projects. And in some of those instances, sometimes I would watch them and I would feel discouraged that I just wasn't there yet. So if you are feeling like you can't pull something like this off, well, I wanna share something with you that might encourage you. This whole project only costs about $300 in total. And it could have cost even less, around $80 just for the paint, but I decided that I wanted to do some things that just weren't that necessary, but were important to me. And this space, this shop, just so happened to come with our new home. It was one of the things on our checklist, me to have my own studio space, even if it was super small, that was kind of separate from the house, but also on the property. So I can be a dad and a husband and all the things that I am when I need to be. It's been an 11-year journey for me to get to this point. And a few years ago, I just finally realized that my ultimate dream was to spend more time with my family than I do at work. And I could truthfully say that the Lord has blessed me to be able to do that. But with all of that said, I just want to encourage you that you could do this too. Whatever space you're in or whatever current season of life you're in, just take the space that you have available to you and make it work for you. I've certainly done this. My last space was super tiny, but I still made it work and created different sets around the room that made it feel fresh, new, and also memorable and consistent. It really did teach me to place the focus on the number one important thing about doing this whole YouTube thing, and that is you. This community and what we're doing here and lifting each other up, inspiring each other to do better, bigger, and greater things. And for me to offer my knowledge and experiences over the years as a filmmaker and as a content creator. And even after all the ups and downs and twists and turns, I can honestly say I wouldn't change a thing. Well, that's gonna do for me. Thank you so much for joining me in this studio tour video. I normally don't make videos like this, but it was super fun and I would love to make more. So if you'd like to see more of this space being done as I do it throughout the year, let me know down in the comments below. If you liked this video or you're feeling encouraged or inspired, please click the like button down below. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, friend.